Hey everyone, and welcome back to the SCREENY. Penn and Teller Fool Us offers magicians the opportunity to dazzle two of the biggest names in the business. Usually they're seasoned pros who know their stuff pretty well, but while they can wow the audiences, they can't always fool Penn and Teller. A trick may be done perfectly and go off without a hitch, but it takes a lot to present something that Penn and Teller aren't familiar with. Join us as we take a look at every time Penn and Teller caught the magician. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content about your favorite movies and TV shows.
Let's seal it together, so I'll go first. And you can go second. If you don't do that, that's gross. I'm messing with you, okay?
NASH FUNG. Hong Kong hopeful NASH FUNG was a creative spirit, wanting to show Penn and Teller his unique brand of magic that blended art with trickery. According to Fung, his act is always deeply personal, relating in some way to his own life story and experiences. The young magician wasted no time in inviting the dynamic duo on stage with him, asking them to take a seat at a table. What Fung lacked in on-stage banter, he made up for in efficiency, getting Penn to hand over his driver's license as soon as he sat down. Fung took a good look at the license and Penn's credit card before turning his attention to Teller. As Teller held on to that, Penn and Fung sealed the driver's license in an envelope, along with two separate envelopes containing hotel room keys. Putting that to one side, the lunch bag was opened next, and Teller took out a smaller bag that contained some lighter fluid and a bowl, and a can of Coke. Next, Fung put all of the envelopes containing cards into the bowl and set them alight, bar one that Penn opted to put aside as he believed it contained his license. It didn't. And amazingly, the license was inside the can of Coke. Although it was a great trick, both magicians had performed similar ones themselves and could explain every aspect of the act through selected hints. Better luck next time, Fung.
Thank you very much indeed. NASH FUNG.
When I was, 17, and I said, I'm not going to college, I'm going to be a professional magician. My parents, they were like, okay. And that was it.
Peter BOIE. Mentalism acts can be pretty astonishing, giving the average Joe the chills, but seasoned magicians Penn and Teller could see through Peter BOIE straight away. BOIE has been interested in magic ever since he was a toddler, even deciding not to go to college to pursue a career in the industry. You had to hand it to Peter. His stage was set up very good, and all of that rolling mist onto the stage looked truly spooky. He asked two audience members to join him on the stage to try and prove the existence of ghosts. Hardly what you want when you're out to see a show on a Saturday night, right? Mulaney and Bill were each handed a slate chalkboard to clean off, before Peter placed a piece of chalk between the two slates and handed them back to Mulaney to hold. As the helpful assistant closed her eyes, the showman asked her to concentrate on any sensations that she might feel and made some pretty weird movements around the stage before tapping Bill twice on the shoulder. Amazingly, Melanie said that she felt someone touch her shoulder too. When Mulaney opens up the chalkboard, it had writing on it. The audience and Ross loved it, but Penn and Teller weren't sold. Despite loving it, they knew exactly how it was performed. Still, it was entertaining.
There's so much you can do with magic. Magic is art, magic is entertainment, magic can be life. That's what I want to show people.
NAATHAN. NAATHAN had always been obsessed with magic, and his grandfather even gave him an allowance of £50 a month to spend on honing his skills when he was a youngster. That's not bad, is it? The Scottish Asian performed a new style of old-school magic and hoped to delight Penn and Teller with his act. FAN's act was simple, consisting of just a lovely blue balloon. Not only did it match his shirt and the tablecloth on the little prop table, but it was quite special. After blowing it up, the magic man licked his hand and made it stick to his fingers, before placing it on the table and making it roll towards him, seemingly unaided, even making it float by itself into the rafters of the arena. FAN's aim was just to make people remember the joy of childhood, and Penn and Teller appreciated his efforts, but the trick wasn't original enough for them. They liked the presentation and agreed it would be a good act for FUNG going down the line, but they knew the ins and outs of it like the back of their hands. Penn and Teller 1, NAATHAN 0.
Name's PIFF the Magic Dragon. You might have heard of my older brother. Steve.
Piff the Magic Dragon. Magic takes a certain amount of dedication, and Piff the Magic Dragon had it in spades. Of course, he wasn't a real dragon, and luckily he was there to fool Penn and Teller with his magic and not his costume skills. Piff also had an accomplice, a gorgeous little doggy by the name of Mr. Piffles, dressed up in his own miniature outfit too. The strange act won over the heart of the audience pretty much straight away with his dry wit, inviting a member of the audience to join him on stage. After producing a deck of cards and getting Stacy to choose one and write her name on it, the lovable dragon transformed her chosen card into one that he had predicted earlier. We wanted to see a little more of the adorable dog, if we're honest, as he was the best part of the entire segment. The card trick itself was nothing that we hadn't seen before, but it was pretty cool to see a dude dressed up as a dragon. Penn and Teller found the comedy elements of this act great, but knew how he did the trick in less than 30 seconds.
Racket? Yeah, that's right, a tennis net, perfect. Okay, here, hold on to that. Okay, yeah, if you would just hold it up a little lower. Yeah, just up a little lower. You're doing just great. Okay, all right, this is fun, okay.
Joel Ward. Comedy and magic go hand in hand. After all, you gotta do something other than the trick to keep the audience entertained. Joel Ward grew up in California, where he practiced mixing his tricks with yoga. However, he had a different sport in mind when he took to the stage on the show. Joel asked Allison to join him on stage and took a ring from her finger before getting her to make a fist with her right hand. The ring was placed inside a handkerchief and supposedly meant to peer in Allie's closed hand. But it was just a shtick to make the audience chuckle. Switching it up a little, Joel and Allie donned matching tennis headbands and Ward began juggling, getting her to choose a ball and sign it. After pretending to try and hit the ball, it burst into feathers. But it didn't matter, as the crafty magician had a brand new tube of sealed balls waiting in his bag. Allison took the lid off to find her signed ball waiting for her, with her previously vanished ring inside. As usual, Penn proceeded to tell Ward in his own special way that he absolutely didn't fool them, but they loved it anyway. That's not a bad day's work, right?
Name a card, Penn. Anyone.
4 of hearts.
It would have fooled you, but I'll move on as planned.
Ben SEIDMAN. Lovable Ben SEIDMAN was a jack of all trades, lending his hand to music and acting before setting on magic as his craft. The dedicated trickster spent most of his time touring the States, spending 95% of his year on the roads performing at different venues. SEIDMAN had the audience wrapped around his finger from the start of his act, cracking some jokes before he went down to the nitty-gritty. As he told a comical story about an encounter with a homeless person, Ben slipped his watch, his ring, and his money into a plain envelope and sealed it. In what was quite an astonishing trick, SEIDMAN finished up by ripping the envelope in two, having made all his items disappear. Usually the only way that happens is if you get robbed. They then appear in their original places. It was so quick that viewers couldn't see what went on, but unluckily for this hopeful, he was under the watchful eye of two incredibly skilled veteran tricksters. Penn referenced Ben's inspiration for the trick, Tommy Wonder, and said that he preferred SEIDMAN's version of it. Considering that he got incredibly high praises from two of his personal icons, Ben went away happy, but without having fooled them.
I remember being in 2nd grade when I saw Penn and Teller's first magic show. I had never seen magic be cool before, and it blew me away.
Brian Brushwood. Hailing from Austin, Texas, Brian Brushwood brought his own particular brand of punk rock magic to the show to make Penn and Teller crack a smile. This seasoned performer mixed real tricks like swallowing fire with illusions to entertain audiences, and wanted the chance to impress his idols. He strutted out onto the stage and grabbed a guy from the audience to help him. When Sean joined him on the stage, Brian opened a suitcase containing $3,001 bills. After Sean picked a stack and flipped flipped through to ensure all the serial numbers were different, he picked one from the top and held onto it. The rest of the stack went to Penn and Teller to look after, as Sean wrote his name on the bill he had chosen. Turning to the audience, Sean read each half one part of the serial number for them to remember. Picking up the blowtorch, Brushwood then burnt the selected dollar to smithereens. How could anyone possibly make that reappear when it's been destroyed? Well, Brushwood did it. He asked Sean to eat a mixture of the burnt ashes and chocolate pudding before laying him down on a gurney and putting on a blood-stained lab coat. Things got a little bit freaky for Sean, but hey, he said he was up for anything. Brushwood pretended to perform surgery on his stomach and pulled out a bag that contained a dollar bill matching the serial number. Penn admitted that they were pretty massive fans of Brian's before he appeared on the show, but they knew the ins and outs of everything.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, some people want to see the bill after I'm done.
Thank you very much for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content, and don't forget to check out one of the other 2 videos on your screen.